as the Spitfire lines up for his first pass of today's demonstration. A little bit of information about this one. This is a Mark 5B and was produced in Castle Bromwich here in the United Kingdom. Much like many of its brothers and sisters of the Supermarine family, all the aircraft were built here in Castle Bromwich, which isn't too far away from here, just over towards Birmingham. A high-speed pass to start off today's demonstration, using all 1500 horsepower from that Rolls-Royce V12 Merlin engine. Typically, the Spitfire will run on about 1000 horsepower, but when it goes into emergency war power, it has an extra 470 horsepower to use. This injects a lot of cooling liquids into the engine and stops it from overheating. But as well as the incredible engine this has, it does have something called the fatal flaw. This is a well-known flaw with the Spitfires and with some of the Merlin-engined aircraft. It was unable to fly upside down. Due to the engine being a carburettor instead of fuel injection, if the plane were to fly upside down and pull negative G-forces, the fuel would simply leave. Which isn't a very good thing when you're trying to dogfight a German Luftwaffe fighter. Even still, even though it has no ability to fly upside down, it is still incredibly fast. With a top speed of nearly 400 miles per hour. That's almost twice as fast as my car. As well as being fast, it's actually incredibly manoeuvrable. As you see the aircraft pass this time, have a look at its wings. It is named an elliptical wing, and it is very, very iconic of this aircraft. And you see there, it is actually very thin as well. When they designed the aircraft, they wanted to make the wing as low drag as they possibly could. And so therefore the elliptical wing and the thin wing chord, as we see it, was made. This isn't a small plane though. With a wingspan of 36 feet. It's very large. It may look small when it's flying, but those propellers are about the same size as a normal average person. But the aircraft we have here today is slightly different. It's a bit more important to some of our American viewers out there. This is known as one of the Eagle Squadron's planes. On the 13th of June 1942, it was assigned to the 133 Squadron. These Eagle Squadrons were fighter squadrons of the Royal Air Force formed with volunteer pilots from the United States during the early days of World War II, prior to America's entry into the war in December 1941. With the United States still neutral in the war, many Americans simply crossed the border and joined the Royal Canadian Air Force. They learned to fly and to fight. But many early recruits had originally gone to Europe to fight for Finland against the Soviet Union. In fact, there were 3 of these Eagle squadrons in the Royal Air Force. The 71st, the 121st, and the one we see here today is the 133rd. After the United States entered the war, all of the squadrons were then put back into the United States Air Force. And some of these squadrons even still fly to this day. However, they do not use Spitfires anymore. They use some slightly larger aircraft with engines at the back instead. Something you're unable to hear in YSFlight as well is the iconic howl and whistle of the Spitfire. The Mustang also has a very similar whistle. If you actually hear this whistle stop, it means that you are probably about to die. As the aircraft is pulling G-forces and the air is flowing over those gun pods, the air resonates inside the end of them, at a point where it actually starts to whistle. So when you have a Spitfire or a Mustang coming and diving towards you and you can hear it whistling and then all of a sudden it stops, it's because he's just opened the barrels of the gun. Therefore, you're probably not going to be around for much longer. So the now on circuit, and get some nice pictures of the aircraft landing, and don't forget to wave the pilot a good wave and wave goodbye and a wave thank you for his performance here today. And we thank Hornet, the pilot, for a fantastic performance in the Supermarine Spitfire Mark V. And there we can see waggling his ailerons and thanking everybody for the great audience you have been. As he taxis past some of these static displays of the BF-109, the Mustang and the Spitfire. And back into the hangar it goes. As this aircraft is quite expensive, we want to keep it inside as much as we can.